Hello and welcome back to the garden and back to another Christmas video. And today I'm adding Christmas to the white garden because it's pretty drab this time of year. Now it's incredibly windy again today, so hopefully the sound will be okay. But I'm just adding an obelisk to this pot. It's full of compost from the summer bedding displays. Got a faux garland which I've added to hide the top of the pot, and it'll also add a little bit of bulk to the greens that I'm going to add. Next, I'm going to add some wire. So the wire I'm using is ordinary garden wire. It'll hold what I'm going to add next in place with a bit of luck. So I'm just going to add some wire around the obelisk, tie it tight, and then twist it off. And I won't cut any of these loose ends off yet because I'm going to need them later on. So I'm going to do that all the way to the top. So I've added the wire about 2/3 up the obelisk, and now I'm adding the baubles. All different sizes, all shatterproof, or these ones are polystyrene. I've had them for quite a few years. So I'm just going to mix in all the different sizes till I get all the way to the top. So I've just added the last of the wire and the last of the baubles, so now it's full. But I've left all these long pieces on because I'm going to add the lights. Now I'm just attaching these battery operated lights to the obelisk. I'm going up and down each leg and around the bottom, and I'm using the wire that I added to keep the baubles in to tighten the lights onto the obelisk. So that's the lights all attached. I'm now just going around and cutting off any of the wires that I used, and then I'm going to add the greens around the bottom. So the greens that I'm adding are just liandi hedge cuttings, and I'm just poking them through the obelisk into the compost of the pot. I think it'll just finish this off. So I'll add these all the way around and I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. Now it's the next day. I've got a very friendly robin who I feed all the time. He follows me everywhere in the garden. And this can go on all day. But I'll put them away for now because he's getting rather chubby. Anyhow, as I said, it's the next day. It's a wonderful day today. Blue skies, sunshine, and hardly any wind. Didn't get the chance to finish videoing these last night, although I did finish them, and you can see I've made a second one. But I'm really happy. This year it's worked out. Last year I tried this and I couldn't get it to work. But this year I've persevered, and I think they look really pretty, and they look even better at night, so you'll see them later on. Did take some time. I must admit, it was quite time consuming adding all of the lights, but it was worth it. I'm really happy with them. But now I'll show you two other ones that I did yesterday, which are far simpler and far quicker. So two more pots that I've more or less complete I started yesterday, and these couldn't be easier and couldn't be quicker. All I've done is add some branches from around the garden. These are just branches that I cut off. Liandi hedging, hedge trimmings again, into old compost, old soil, which is still in the pot. But I've added this Christmas tree. Now this is a wooden Christmas tree that made out of plywood. If you've got someone in the family that's good at woodwork, that would possibly cut them out for you. I didn't make these, I'm not that talented, but someone did. And all I've done is on the end of each of the branches, I added a screw. Each end, and on the screw I've added some string lights all the way through, all the way up the top of the tree. And it looks brilliant at night, it really does. But I thought just to add a little bit more glamour to during the day, I would add some picks. Now these are picks that I've had for years. They're just pine cones which have been sprayed silver onto a stick. Nothing complicated about that, they're just wired on. And I just thought if I add a few of those, it would add a little bit of a sparkle to the pot. These seed pods I've used for the last few years. Again, I've just glued them on to a stick, and I'll just add those as well. So I'll add a few of those around the tree. So this is another quick pot. Got this very tall pot filled with a much smaller plastic pot full of compost. Well, not compost, it's actually garden soil, because I hadn't used this one before. And I'm just adding a centerpiece. Because we're in the white garden, I'm adding white. And these are white sticks that I bought from IKEA, believe it or not, but it was a good few years ago and I haven't been able to see them since, which is a pity because I do like to use them indoors and out. And because I use them outside every year, some of the paint's actually rubbed off on the bottom, so I do need to paint them after this season. So I'm just going to add these in the middle as my centre piece. So the next thing I'm adding are more painted branches. Again, I painted these last year, so the paint is coming off in places, but you won't see them. You won't be able to see that close. So going all the way around the original sticks that I added in the centre with these white painted branches. So next I'm going to add some greens. And what I've done this year is I've bought one of those very small Christmas trees, cut Christmas trees from the local garden centre. And I'm going to add that around the perimeter of the pot. But I'm also going to add my trusty liandi underneath as the drape. So those are the two greens that I'm going to use. But first of all, I'll add these cut branches. Now the reason why I did this year is one, the garden centre that I use is closing down. Very sad, hopefully it's going to be taken over by someone else. And everything in the store was 50% off. And I did buy quite a few plants, and you'll see those in the coming weeks when I get back to working in the garden. But I was tempted very much to buy one of these cut trees because I don't have any of this. This is Northern fir, I think it is, this particular tree. I don't have any of this type in the garden that I can cut from. And I wanted to use something different this year. So I'm just going to add those all the way around. Force them into the compost as far as I can go. So the last thing I'm going to add, it's quite sunny, something I'm not used to, are some picks. Now these are picks that I bought from Hobbycraft, which is a UK craft store, and I used them last year for the first time. And once they dried out after they'd been in the pots for a few months, they were fine, so I can recommend those for using them outside. They didn't actually split or break, which I thought they might. So I'm just adding them into the front of the pot to give that extra bit of sparkle. And then last but not least, I have some pine cones. Now these are just regular pine cones that I've added some sticks to and painted. And I'm going to add them all the way around in front of these other picks. So the last thing I'm going to add is some battery lights just through the greens, just so this shines nice and bright at night. Just to scale it down, I'm going to take this pot inside, I think. It's very pretty. It's from a local company called The Range here in the UK. It's got Christmas trees on it. So pretty. Just filled it with soil, added a few branches from the Christmas trees, and I'm just going round filling it with the liandi just to drape over the side of it. Don't need to hide the top of this pot because it's so pretty. And then I've got some laurel cuttings from the laurel shrubs that I cut back, which would have been about 6 weeks ago now. I'm just going to add a few of those in the middle, just to get a bit of dimension to it. I love to make pots which are just full of things from the garden. It's my favourite thing. But I am going to add a bit of bling because it's Christmas. And if you can't add a bit of bling at Christmas, when can you? And what I've got to add is, I've got a choice actually. I'll see which one looks best. Get this one to stay in the ground. That's it. So I've got a deer. Swing on its horns. Got a Christmas tree, some pine cones that I've painted. But then I've got this one, and it's Christmas trees. And I just think this will just look good. So I'm going to add it here to the front where I can see it, and then I'll turn it around to show you. Yes, that's nice. That is a lovely bit of bling. And then I've got a few branches, just branches that were lying around the garden. So I'll just add those just to give a bit of dimension into the pot. And I watered the soil beforehand, so these greens should last quite a while in the house. So true to form, the weather's turned and it's raining again. But that's it. Another video finished to another end of a year on YouTube. I'd just like to say a special thank you to all the subscribers, old and new, and anyone else that watches the videos. And I'd just like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.